Alright guys, so my first import for FBA has just cleared customs, and I've got the official paperwork. I won't show too much. You can see there from Woodland Global, that's my freight forwarder. And I want to share it with you guys because it has a breakdown of how to calculate customs duty and VAT on the import, and that is one of the things I had a lot of questions about before my first import, and the videos that I watched on YouTube weren't great advice. So hopefully now I've got proper paperwork from a freight forwarder. I can share with you guys how the calculations work. And then you can use that for your imports to predict what the costs are going to be. So I've got a lovely PowerPoint presentation which I'm going to shrink down so you can see, and then we're going to jump straight into it. So importing from China to the UK, I'm going to show you how to calculate customs duty, VAT, and then I'm going to briefly touch on what an EORI number is and why you need it, and also classification codes which are needed to customize your calculate your customs duty. So let's get straight into the best bit of the video, which is how to calculate the customs duty and VAT. Like I say, these are taken exact figures from the invoice I've just received from Woodland Global, so they are accurate, and you can use these with confidence for your own calculations. So the first thing you need to do is take the order cost in the original currency. Despite the fact we're buying from China, most of us are buying in US dollars. So my order was for $4,475. And then what you need to do is convert that back to pounds. Now the HMRC, they set the exchange rate once a month, and that is available on the HMRC website to see what that is. And that is calculated on the arrival date. So it doesn't matter when it was sent, it's when it arrives that they calculate that, that fee. So just to briefly take you over to their website, you can see here, you see the URL at the top. If you just Google HMRC exchange rates, it will come up, and you can see here we've got the September rates and all of the countries and currency there. And if I scroll down to US dollars, all the way down, US dollars, where are we? USA, we're at 1.2909, and that's exactly what's on the invoice, so that is definitely right. So I then divide my 4475 by 1.2909, and that gives us £3,466, and that is the rateable value for customs duty, and then later on the VAT is also applied. So you've got that value, so we know what the value is. The next thing we need to do is add the shipping cost. So it cost me £312, that's what my freight forwarder charged me, so I need to add that on. And then that also has to include the insurance cost if you paid it as well. And it's at that point you apply the customs duty. So the customs duty is applied to your product cost and your shipping cost together. Now you can see there I'm multiplying my cost by 6.3%, and I'm going to show you later on in this video how to find out the percentage and the classification code that you fall under. So we times that by 6.3%, which is £238. So the actual customs duty I was paying is £238, and that brings me to the grand total of £4,017. And I've got my grand total there because that is what the VAT is added onto. So we then times that by the VAT, so 4,017 times by 0.2 is £803, which gives us a grand total of 238 plus 803 of £1,041 of customs duty and VAT. So if you follow that through, that should give you an accurate idea of what your customs duty and VAT are going to be. So what I'm going to show you now is the EORI number, and you need this for your import. If you're using a courier, then you might not need this, but if you're importing via sea shipments, then you will need one of these. So you need to go to the EORI website. I don't know why my bullet points are coming in at random orders. I'm going to take you right there just to cover a couple of points. When we get there, you're going to need to select not VAT registered, because most of you won't be at this stage. If you are VAT registered, obviously choose the correct option, but most people starting out on Amazon will not be VAT registered. You need to choose that option. You need to complete the form, and you need 4 different addresses to hand. That's your business address, your freight forwarder address, your supplier's address, and the Amazon address. Now obviously your freight forwarder and supplier can give you those addresses, and the Amazon address you will get once you've created your shipment in Amazon. Then once you have applied, it takes around 3 days for the application to be processed. When you actually click submit to apply, you should receive a confirmation. Mine took about half hour to come through, and the reason I'm saying this is the first time I did it, despite the fact I got a success message on the website, I didn't receive any confirmation. And after about 10 days, I called them and asked them what was going on. They said, well, if you didn't receive a confirmation email, then I'll need to reapply. So I had to reapply, and then that time it did come through within the 3 days. So I'm just going to take you to the EORI registration form. So you get the 3 options that I just talked about: registered for VAT, non-registered and you're exporting, or non-registered and you're importing. So most of us want this third option. So click that and that will take you through to the form. It's a fairly straightforward form. It takes say about 10 minutes to complete. The first bits at the top are just standard declarations. So tick the box, populate the first section there with your company details, and then put in your personal details. Well, I put my personal details. If you've got company contact numbers, put them in. I put my personal mobile because that's with me all the time. So put your email address and your telephone number in. Then you need to choose the type of business type you are. Now, I'm a limited company, so I filled in this section here. Obviously, if you're a partnership or sole proprietor, or even one of these, I doubt very much you're a registered charity, but if you are, obviously select this section and complete it accordingly. And come on further down, details of import, just a very brief summary. For example, you might say we're importing 500 yoga blocks. It's very simple, and then put in there the value that you've been given by your supplier or whatever you worked out. That doesn't need to be exact, or I didn't put an exact figure on it because you don't know what the value is going to be until the exchange rate on the day of import is actually calculated. So I just put an approximate value in there. Then put in your freight forwarders details, your suppliers details, and then the delivery details, which are of course to Amazon. Method of import, mine was sea freight, so I needed to know my container number. So I couldn't actually complete this EORI form until I had my shipment had been dispatched, because the container number wasn't available until that time. And then that's pretty much it. Come down, tick this box here, which means your details are available for people to see them. Put your name again and your position in the business, tick the box and click next. That's it really. So just populate the form, tick the relevant boxes, and hopefully within 3 days you'll have that number, which your freight forwarder will then request when your shipment arrives. So that's it for EORI. And then the next thing you need to know is how to find your commodity code. Now, I should have really done this a lot earlier on in the process. I just assumed, having watched lots of YouTube videos, it was going to be somewhere around the 4 or 5% mark. When I come to look it up myself, I ended up in a bracket of 12%. So I was a little bit worried at that point, because that was not what I was expecting. So there is, again, a website where you can go on there, and I'm going to take you through it in a second. What you do is you can go on there, you can either do a search. If you've got a common product that's, for example, an umbrella, then it'll probably come up on the search. If you've got a more obscure product, then you're going to need to do a manual lookup and choose the category that you feel is most suitable. If you're still after looking up, I looked mine up and I still wasn't certain, you can contact HMRC. If you email them on that email address, they'll come back to you. They took about 48 hours to reply to me, advising what category that I should go in. And I was glad I did that, because like I said, I thought I was going to be in the 12% category, and HMRC had come back and put me in one that was 6.3%. So that's half the customs duty rate for just sending one email. So I'm just going to take you quickly there to the Trade Tariffs website. So you can see at the top you've got the search. So if you were, if it's a common product like, as I say, umbrella, you can see you get suggestions pop up, and when you click through, you'll see the various subcategories that are, it's easy enough to pick if you've got a common product. If you haven't, like I didn't, I had to go down, and I knew mine was a textile product, and it didn't fall under any of these categories. So it's an other made up textile product. And then it was other again, because it didn't fall under any of the suggestions, and other again. So I put myself under knitted, which I thought would be the correct category. And as you can see here, they put that at 12% rate. But when I contacted them, they come back and they put me in other, which I thought would probably be the same, albeit under the same category, but it wasn't. You can see there it's 6.3%. So double check it, find your classification code, and I would definitely say find out what it's going to be before you order your product, in case the import duty makes a product not as profitable as you want it to be. So hopefully you found that useful, because calculating the VAT and customs duty was one of the things that I really struggled with initially, because the information out there either wasn't available, or there was it wasn't clear information. A lot of the bigger sellers we're getting this wrong, what they're telling us on YouTube. So hopefully that, from a proper invoice that literally has just arrived, will clarify it for you guys. Just to very much touch on how long it took to ship it in and how much it cost. Obviously we've already touched on the cost, but I'll go over it again. My shipment got collected from Shanghai on the 1st of August, and it arrived in Felixstowe, which is in Suffolk, on the 2nd of September. So pretty much just on a month to get it all the way from China to England. Then it was a few days in customs, so that the freight forwarder could clear customs and unpack the container, and they've booked the delivery with Amazon now. So it should be with Amazon. They said they've tried to request a delivery this week. They're just waiting for Amazon to confirm an exact time. So hopefully next week it's going to be with Amazon. And it cost me £312. That was insured, and that was for 750 kilos and approximately 3 cubic meters of product. So that gives you a rough idea of what I paid, how long it took. Like I say, my freight forwarder was Woodland Global. They've been fine. I would imagine I'll use them again. I might change my mind once it gets to Amazon and I order the product and see what condition they are. But yeah, so far they've been absolutely fine, and I would use those guys again. So that's it for this video. I've set up a Facebook profile just for FBA, so if you want to add me, please do. You can send me messages or questions on Facebook, and if you haven't already, please like this video, it really helps, and subscribe to the channel as well.